In this video, we will analyze how Russia's decision to shift responsibility for defense backfired. Here, unable to defend their own sky, the Russian authorities have told private companies to fend for themselves and protect their own facilities from Ukrainian strikes instead. However, the flawed nature of the plan and the organizational limitations have led to a complete defense failure, with cities burning. The new policy immediately exposes several major weaknesses, as modern air defense depends on integrated command networks for rapid decision-making and coordinated engagement procedures by trained operators. Large corporations may have the money to buy equipment, but they generally lack the expertise necessary to operate military-grade systems effectively. More importantly, creating dozens or hundreds of separate defensive networks risks producing fragmented coverage across Russia. Wealthier companies may indeed succeed in protecting themselves, while less profitable facilities will remain exposed. Rather than strengthening national air defense, the policy risks creating a patchwork system full of exploitable gaps. Officially, the measure of the Russian government was intended to increase the number of mobile air defense groups and strengthen protection of strategic infrastructure. The idea was to allow private companies to purchase anti-aircraft artillery systems, radars, electronic warfare equipment, and interceptor systems themselves. Unofficially, it reflects the much harsher reality in which the Russian military can no longer adequately defend the growing number of targets threatened by Ukrainian long-range drones. However, due to the Russian officials fearing any future unrest, any military equipment used in this manner will not formally belong to the companies themselves. Instead, it will remain under military control and be operated through reservist formations attached to regional defense units. The flaws in the plan became particularly visible during Ukraine's massive drone assault on Moscow, when waves of long-range drones penetrated even the heavily defended airspace around the capital. Russian authorities claimed hundreds of drones were intercepted, yet multiple still reached their targets. The Gazprom Neft refinery in Kapotnya, targeted already just days before, is the most important fuel-producing facility serving the Moscow region, supplying half of the capital's fuel consumption. Videos recorded by residents showed drones flying at low altitude over Moscow before powerful explosions erupted around the refinery. Witnesses captured enormous fires, thick columns of black smoke, and huge secondary explosions, forcing temporary airport closures and damaging nearby infrastructure. The attack highlighted how, when air defenses become saturated by large drone swarms and are used by inexperienced operators, mistakes become more likely. Failed interceptions, mistimed engagements, and falling debris cause damage of their own in Moscow. Defensive systems attempting to destroy incoming drones created additional hazards for the very infrastructure they are meant to protect, as clearly visible in the last attack when an air defense rocket hit a large oil storage tank and blew up its roof into the air. What makes this development especially interesting is that Russia appears to be adapting a concept Ukraine introduced at the end of 2025, when Ukrainian authorities authorized enterprises and licensed security organizations to participate in air defense. Companies were allowed to purchase remotely operated weapon stations, interceptor systems, and supporting equipment while integrating directly into a centralized Air Force command structure. By May this year, dozens of Ukrainian companies had reportedly joined the program, contributing to successful interceptions of 85% of Russian drones they targeted. However, the crucial difference lies in implementation, as Ukraine grants participants meaningful operational flexibility while maintaining centralized coordination. Russia, by contrast, remains reluctant to provide private organizations with real control, with the hesitation stemming largely from political concerns and fear of mutiny. The stigma of providing companies and oligarchs with military-grade weapons is a heavy one in Russia. The last time this happened, a 50,000-strong Wagner army marched on Moscow. As a result, the Kremlin seeks additional defensive capacity, while simultaneously ensuring that private entities never possess real independent military power capable of rivaling state control. This creates a contradiction in the Russian approach, as companies are expected to fund their own protection and take greater responsibility for security, yet they remain dependent on supervision, which slows down reaction time and reduces effectiveness. At the same time, Ukraine prioritizes speed and decentralized responses, viewing private participants as partners in a national survival effort. Overall, the Kremlin's decision represents an admission that Russia's military air defense network is struggling to cope with the scale of Ukrainian long-range drone operations, so Moscow has begun shifting responsibility onto private industry. However, Russia's model begins from a position of distrust, creating a fragmented and bureaucratic defense structure before it is even fully deployed, with the consequences visible over Moscow itself, where one of Russia's most important refineries suffered extensive damage despite the vast air defense resources concentrated around the capital. To watch uncensored combat footage that we used in this report, check out our interactive news map. Here we are unrestricted by the YouTube policies and can finally show you the full uncut version of what really happened. But what is even more important, this map will give you access to all our analysis of significant events that go far beyond of what we can include in our short daily videos. Finally, we are officially releasing the second generation of our interactive map. What you are seeing on your screen right now is a significantly enhanced and far more powerful version of the map that has even more advanced features and news analytics tools. To celebrate the launch of the new map, we are also launching a 50% sale on all subscription plans. Starting from just $4.99, you will not only gain premium access to the map, but you will also unlock all our exclusive strategic updates, frontline overviews, and strategic geopolitics videos. So check out the link in the description to become an exclusive member of our community. I truly appreciate everyone who stepped up to join us. Your support means the world to us.